Something I did make it to the theater to see was Gloria Bell, Sebastian Lilo's reimagining of his 2013 Spanish film Gloria. And this movie is sitting at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I mean, it's Julianne Moore, it's John Turturro, and that's pretty much it. Like Julianne Moore carries this thing uh, solely on her dancing feet, I suppose.
Mhm.
Um, I I found this movie to be very interesting for what it was because when you go to the movies, a lot of times you think about these big stories. I mean, we talk about Star Wars, we talk about Avengers Endgame, and the Oscars usually rewards these smaller story films, the ones that are more human. And this is maybe one of the most like human stories I can remember seeing in a movie theater because it's pretty much just about like a middle class divorced white mother who has some bad relationships and is just trying to like figure out how her life got to where it is. And it's like a very normie type story, but it got made and it was actually pretty interesting, I thought. What did you think of the film?
Yeah, I think again the small scale that you just referenced definitely stands out right away. But also, Sebastian's camera techniques, they're very simple. I mean, we get close-ups of her of Julianne Moore in the car,
Mhm.
and when we're having conversations again, it's a lot of like close, upper thirds of people's bodies. There's really not any like zoomed out shots in this. It's just really personal film, which makes sense because it's a story just about uh, the mundane aspects of humanity, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Yep.
And like I actually haven't seen either of his two most recent movies, Fantastic Woman, which won Best Foreign Film 2 years ago, and then Disobedience, which I know is on Prime right now, which is with Rachel McAdams and Rachel Weisz. And those were put out on Bleecker Street and Sony, but this new one, Gloria Bell, is on A24. So he's definitely been bouncing around his distributors, which is, I think, interesting. But this is also like the first one he really put out post the Oscar win. And I think the
Mhm.
fact that you're going to remake your own film like 5 years after you put it out is
Yep.
quite the ballsy move. But
Yeah.
I think it was pretty cool. I mean, the way he talks about it, Julianne Moore really connected with him and connected with the film, and that they really like seemed like they were a match made in heaven to Americanize this story once more.
Yep.
And I'm really glad because I haven't seen the first film, Gloria. He's from Chile, but yeah, I think they're getting an English version of this, get it on something as prestigious as A24 is really cool. Um, and yeah, as you said, I think Moore is awesome, and
Yeah.
um, and the writing is just really smart. Even the pace of the story, I think, has great payoffs. Whether it's obvious stuff like what happens with the paintball gun at the end, or even stuff that
Yeah.
maybe is a little eyebrow raising, like the Sean Astin cameo. Um,
Mm.
Overall, though, I think it's just a really pleasant movie. I actually went in with not watching the trailer at all, so I really didn't know much about it other than that it was like a smaller scale story. And I'm glad I didn't really know much because I think it just is really engaging right away, which says a lot about a movie this small in scope.
Mhm. It's funny. As I was watching, I was like, "Is that Sean Astin?" And I was like, oh, I can't remember the last time Sean Astin came in and played like a sleazeball, which is basically what his character is in this.
It's a
And
good point. Yeah, he was like really genuine, honest guy in Stranger Things, right? That's the most recent high profile thing I can
yeah,
think.
I just he always kind of comes across as like the nice guy who's
Mhm.
always trying to do the right thing. And this, he's like a married guy who's picking up this woman in Vegas. Like, goddamn. But yeah, Moore was awesome, and I really liked Tuturo's performance too as a fuckboy Arnold, who is basically just like he's this I guess later aged, senior. He's not really a senior. He's
I think he
what,
was in his 50s.
60s,
He said, did they say
50s.
that? Not sure.
I don't know if they said an age, but recently divorced man who has an ex-wife and two daughters who were very, very reliant on him. Seems like for mental health issues, and he's kind of sucked into this dependent, unhealthy environment, I guess they came from. And he falls in love with Gloria and wants to be with her, and then just ends up leaving her pretty much every single time. Uh, I hated his character, but I thought Turturro played it really, really well. And I feel like everything he does at this point is just quality. Like whether it's Night of, um, he made a reference recently on, I think it was at least one podcast, that we're gonna see the Jesus Man again from uh the dude. What was the Big Lebowski? I'm sorry, and I just
Nailed
think
it.
this guy's been around for, yeah, thank you, for what, 20, 30 years acting now, and
Yeah, easy.
puts out quality constantly. Like he's probably one of the most underrated actors of his generation.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, like I think what he burst on really quick with like Quiz Show back in like '94. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously he's became a big top talent right away, but it seemed like it was kind of going off the rails for Turturro. You know, when he was playing Agent Lennox, was it the Sector 7 guy in Transformers? That was really
Yeah.
really out there role, and it looked like he was having a good time with it. But you know, it wasn't until the night of back in, was it 2015 or
Mm-hmm.
16, where it's like, oh, this is a nice meaty role for someone of Turturro's caliber. That's nice to see, and then have this come back, Gloria Bell. I think this is a very inspired choice because again, like Julianne Moore, I think she's pretty well established and respected in terms of like leading actresses. But Turturro, you know, he kind of comes and goes because he's been around some time and we kind of forget about him. So I think I was really happy to see him in this, and I like this run he's going on of showing, yeah, I got these chops. Let me get one of these prestige roles.
Yeah.
Um, which was obviously cool to see if you're just a fan of his. Um, I mean, is there anything else that stood out to you about this movie? You know, it's weird. It actually premiered at Toronto Film Festival back last fall. A wait in terms of getting a theatrical run, but it's actually A24 put out in a lot of theaters, so hopefully it'll
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of eyeballs. It's been out a few weekends now. But anything else stand out to you about it?
Well, you mentioned the camera. Natasha Brayer's cinematography I thought was really good. It seemed like it was a lot of like handheld camera work. And she also, I thought, had just some really clever shots, whether it was the way that she framed shots at the dinner, for
Yes.
Michael Cera's birthday, where Turturro was kind of on the outside of the rest of the family together, or just like out of frame at points. And I thought that was really well done. Um, and also her, like, a lot of the scenes in Vegas stand out, or a lot of the scenes in like the clubs when she's dancing, or even the last scene where she's dancing at the wedding. I thought were all just like really well done and really well shot. I keep thinking about that scene where she's coming up the escalator in Vegas, and it just like shows like all the reflections going on and on, which I thought was pretty interesting. Any shots that stood out to you? I know you like the camera work as well.
Yeah, I really liked I don't know, just the way he would Lelio would cut the singing in the car like
Yeah.
really abruptly, and because those are close ups, then we obviously would switch to a new shot. I thought that was really effective. But yeah, I think everything about the Caesar's Palace scenes was really effective because obviously it really kind of captures everything, like the loneliness, everything that's kind of being meditated on the whole time. Really kind of shows you how sometimes in places as seemingly grand as Las Vegas, where you're gonna find stuff out about yourself like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually surprised about how much nudity there was for someone like Julianne
Yeah.
Moore, you know, but it's commitment, so I respect it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Michael Cera, second time we're talking about him today. Uh, I kind of liked him as this quietly angry son. Like he just was like really like, I don't know, just like fed up with his situation. Which to that I say, don't have kids until you want kids. That's my take on that one. But
Yeah, I thought he was good. And I really liked that commentary. Um, I really liked Holland Taylor in this, who played her mom, and I thought the scenes between them were just stupendous, especially when she does come to Vegas and saves her. It was just like such a great commentary on how like your mom never stops being your mom, and uh, I just thought she was really wonderful. Um, you know, I think about that dinner scene and the tension in that. You talked about the tension during Triple Frontier. I felt more tension watching that scene and just like all like the dynamics at play of it, where like my stomach was like in knots and I was like squirming in my seat because it was so uncomfortable. I
we
thought
were
that was
in
a really
love.
I should have been there. I should have been there. Like, just so many like ridiculous like parts of it. Yeah, I mean, it was just really interesting and engaging throughout. And I also really liked the final scene. I thought seeing Julianne Moore's like just acting through her face in that, she comes out and she's kind of just like miming along, and then you can just see her like stop for a second, like processing things, and then just kind of like let herself go. And I thought it was just really an awesome way to end the movie, and a great note to kind of like put the cherry on top of the sundae, so to speak. I thought the soundtrack of this was really good too. A lot of like 70s hits, 70s 80s, and I thought it played into the movie really well. I don't know. Anything else that stood out to you? I think we covered
Uh,
a lot of it.
yeah, is this your favorite movie of 2019 thus far?
Hmm. Well, if it is, I have a feeling it'll be short lived because Us is out
Mhm.
next week.
Right, of course.
Uh, yeah, it's probably better than Captain Marvel for me. Yeah, I don't really know if there's any other movies
Yeah.
that caught my
High Flying
attention.
Bird, perhaps.
Yeah, no, I think I go with this one, but it's gonna be short lived. I could potentially see more get a nomination for this though.
You got to figure A24 will definitely push her
Yeah,
performance in that campaign. I mean, obviously, I don't think they would try and get anything really more from this, perhaps Turturro as well. But yeah, I think it'll come up again, her performance, no doubt.
definitely.